All right, well, first, thank you all for the positive feedback on my first installment of a tip slashing test video, also my first attempt at an outdoor video. Now, the microphone on that tablet it's pretty good, but as you heard, there's a lot of background noise in my outdoor area, and as soon as I walk away from the machine more than about 5 or 6 feet or turn my back on it, it fades out. So I'm still looking for some kind of lav mic that's actually compatible with what I've got. The search continues, but until then, I hope you can bear with me. Now, I did go ahead, I had another sheet of cardboard and a sunny day. I did another set of those tests, but I wanted to clarify a couple of things and consider the direction this might be going in. So first of all, I say, well, multiple times that I am only raising the sword about a foot to do the downward angular slash, but you can clearly see the tip of the sword is moving more than a foot. Well, what you're not necessarily seeing is, I'm talking about my hand. So what I'm doing basically is raising my hand about a foot. Now, obviously, just the joy of leverage, the sword is moving, well, more like 3 because of that. And then from there, I am basically just giving it a little bit of a push and dropping it down into the target and seeing what the edge and the mass of the sword and, well, its general dynamics will do to that sheet of cardboard. So this one's not nearly as supported as well, but that was a pretty clean cut. About a hand span wide for me. This is my Hanway Cromwell. Pretty good cutting sword. Here's the Kingston side sword, another one I haven't tested yet. It's got a sharper tip, thinner tip, less mass in the blade, and of course I am fingering the guard, similar blade length, but yeah, a similar thing where I move my hand about a foot, the blade about 3, drop it with just a touch of authority. Not used to the length there, let me try that again. Yeah, similar result, a little bit cleaner. Now, when I was doing the knives, let me use my Walther knife project here. I was moving my hand about the same, but obviously the knife's not necessarily moving the same path as a sword is, nor does it have the weight and the length. But what I'm doing is, you'll see my wrist cock a little bit. I'm giving it a little bit of a snap to give me that kind of tip slash, but not necessarily with a whole lot of intent power, just kind of trying to match that gentle nudge, and it gave me a pretty clean, yeah, about 3.5 inches, I would say. Let's do it one more time. Now, before we get into the video itself, I want to throw out the question to everybody. Places to take it from here. I don't want to necessarily do things that everybody else is doing in terms of, well, everybody does pool noodles and bottles and tatami. As you probably got the sense, I'd cut a lot of cardboard because that's what I have, and then I can recycle it, so I feel like it's environmentally friendly. I know it is potentially harmful, can scuff up the blades, but you know, I'm capable of usually polishing that out, so I don't worry about it too much. But I'm thinking maybe if I can figure out some other ways, like in my thrusting tests, I could mimic, well, some fight conditions, some pragmatic fencing conditions that you might get into with bladed implements versus more of those ideal focused cuts. Tell me what you think. Let's get into the actual, well, outdoor action section. All right, take 2. Board seems to be holding up under impact a little bit better this time, so I wanted to give these 2 swords anyway another shot at this. The Christus imprint, first of all, let me see how that does. With, again, just a quick raise and a downward tip slash. Very short, pretty gentle. Not too bad. A little ripping at the end there. Let me do one more. Yeah, what I'm getting is a very clean cut at the top, and then it starts to deform as it, well, kind of gets stuck in the target. Let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look at the Munich this time. Kind of the same thing right there next to it. Quick raise and a quick drop. Well, cleaner. Let's give it one more. A little bit more oomph. That made a really nice clean cut. That was all just from the wrist. What I would consider, well, a light to medium hit. Really clean, really clean, really clean. Not too much ripping in the stop. Let's see what else happens. Change of pace. Luay sword, Tang Dao with that kind of Hirazukiri profile. Tough blade, not necessarily the best cutter, but let's see what the differences are if I go pretty much again right next to it. Just a little bit of a raise and, well, kind of a tip tap, if you will, like I'm touching the target. Ooh, that was kind of impressive. Hit it with a lot of force. There's obviously a lot more weight in the tip of that one. Let's take a look at, well, something close. Semi-related anyway. The Luay sword, Tang style Gen. This is that pretty dense 8-sided beastie. Side by side, let's see, same thing what it does. Raise it up about a foot, just give it a touch. Again, pretty clean until that tip was deep in there and started getting, well, pretty much right angled to what was going on, and then this triple wall cardboard started slowing it down. But yeah, initial penetration, it's quite nice, just for fun. Let me do the same thing, just really, really shallow and see what happens. Just barely make contact with the surface. Yeah. Sliced a lot cleaner, but since I didn't have a very good grip on the sword, you can see it kind of deflected at the end. All right. Let's try a couple of different ones. Let's do some more straight blades, stuff I haven't done before. The Kingston Katzbalga. This one has, well, it's a shorter blade with a pretty thin, very sharp tip. Let's see what that does. And quite a stout grip. So I'm going to try to go about right there, and then raising it up, probably less than a foot, and just giving it a quick little touch of a drop. Yeah, that was pretty clean. Pretty clean. About so long. All right, let me do one more. Go for the Ronin Italian arming sword. Again, pretty sharp at the tip, a little bit stouter, a little bit more needle-like. Let's see what that one does. Ah, quite a bit more blade momentum. Also felt like deeper penetration. We'll take a look at that when we get to the backside view. But one more. And I think I'm going to have to reset the target. All right, that Kingston Type 14 A-trim, I was having all the trouble with the edge. I did manage to get a good edge on it, but it's significantly thicker at the tip. So let's kind of see what that does, shall we? Same kind of thing. Raise up just for a really quick, light, gentle drop, mostly the blade's own momentum. Time to reset the target. All right, heavier nails, at least it lasted a little bit longer under those heavier impacts. Not related, but check out the silliest hammer on the planet. Just picked it up at the new Harbor Freight that opened up near me. Comes in kind of handy. Anyway, let's give that Type 14 another shot, hopefully with the target staying put this time. Right next to it. Yeah, pretty good cut, but definitely got some more ripping. How about some longsword action? Cold Steel Italian. Has a pretty narrow, thin tip, very sharp. It's also going to be completely different dynamic because it's longer and two-handed. But again, I'm not putting much leverage, just raise and drop, just a touch. That was a pretty nice touch. Pretty clean. I think that squishy grip gave me a little bit of twist, if you can see it. It went slightly off course down at the bottom compared to cold steel. Hand and a half. Little stouter, a little heavier, a little shorter. Right next to it. Same thing, just a little bit of a raise and a drop. Just a touch. Yeah, that was a lot cleaner, but again, once that blade starts to get perpendicular, it definitely dumps some energy in there. What else should we try? Well, it's time to flip the cardboard. What about some daggers? Here's that massive cold steel pairing dagger. Let's see what happens if I reach out and touch somebody with, again, just the tip. Not too bad. And as soon as it straightened out, it kind of got stuck in there just a little bit and then dragged out. But yeah, it's not the sharpest. It does have a secondary bevel and it is kind of a thick blade. Let's try another one. Long and skinny musketeer. Again, not the most acute edge, but it does have a pointy tip. This should be kind of like a rapier light. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, not the same hole in terms of length, but you can see a little bit more rippage. And I did feel that narrower guard twist in my hand just a bit more. All right. Assuming you can hear me from the back of the camera. The microphone on this tablet isn't horrible, but there is just so much background noise. I'm definitely looking for some kind of lav mic. Let's call this one a palate cleanser. The Beast. I don't even know where I want to sink this. Somewhere in the middle, I guess, and we'll just see how it goes. Again, I'm only really going to use the weight of the thing and a little bit of downward momentum and try to just hit it with about the first inch of the blade. Be a little bit different, but let's give it a shot. Definitely wanted a twist in my grip. Let me do it again. Yeah, some interesting random deflection I'm getting with that that triple Chira, but I'm also wearing my brace, so I don't have the best grip on this rosewood round handle. But yeah, you can't really see it on the camera. That would otherwise be what I consider a wider split in things than some of these other ones. All right. To be continued. All right, I haven't done any Japanese style swords, at least not in this particular test. They almost have an unfair advantage at this particular kind of cutting because of the shape of the Kisaki and just how sharp, especially the modern reproductions are. They're designed for cutting stuff like this, as compared to swords that, well, didn't come with that edge, or I had to put the edge on it and had mixed results with it. But let's try the Lue sword, Little Crow's Beak, the Kokarasu Maru, just to see how it compares. Again, a light touch. The wood is only about that far behind this cardboard, and I haven't hit the wood yet, so these are not deep. These are just touching with the tip. But again, just a quick, gentle touch with the tip of this one. Oh boy. Yeah. Long and clean and pretty effortless, like butter. Look at the back edge on this one. Let me flip the sword around and go upside down and see what the difference is right next to it, just for giggles. How about that? What would a back edge cut, false edge cut look like? Well, you see that definite kind of dumping towards the end there because of the difference in the angle of the blade. But the initial cut was pretty clean, a little bit fatter. take a look at the back side in a second. What else can we test? All right, may almost be a question of honor here, shall we say. Let's take a look at my original antique Shingunto. This is Yoshi. He definitely is not made like some of the swords that you see on the market today. Very heavy, very, very meaty. Short Kisaki. A little bit more of a sori, but yeah, the edge is going to be completely different. But just comparison side by side. Let's see what happens with, again, that gentle little tap. Oh my. Yeah. So much for gentle little tap. There is a lot more, well, pushed through the cardboard here. It made a wider cut. Very clean, very long. All right. One more. For the honor of the old guys, my lighter, more deeply curved Bohi antique Shingunto Seigi. So more curve, a little bit thinner. Still got that shortish Kisaki. Let's see how that one does side by side. Okay, that almost wasn't fair because he went into the other guy's cut. Let me do that again. Again, with a more curved blade, I'm aiming here, but the cut winds up starting here because, yeah, I'm not used to where the tip is. So let me try just a little bit higher and, well, a little bit more over here. How about that? Yep. Even pulling it back, I got a very, very similar result. Not quite as much mass going through it as Yoshi did, but please don't worry about these swords getting damaged. I know what they can take, and they can definitely take this, and I can clean them up pretty easily. No damage whatsoever. But while we're talking about old and beat up, as kind of a final note, I'll remember seeing this thing before. This is my old carbon steel Marteau. Charles III blade that broke off that complex hilt because it was just a welded on rat tang. It is now mounted in the old handmade sword. I don't know if you call it a wakizashi or a ninja toe, shinobi katana, whatever you want to call it, but kind of a blade sword, a blade. Let's give this thing a try, just for fun. Again, just a light little long reach tap. A little ragged, but not bad. Let me know in the comments if you have any other swords that I reviewed or knives that you'd like to put to a test like this. And I think what I'm going to do in the future is put a slash, we'll call it a slash pad on Stab 'em, and I can even do some brief ones for those new initial reviews, just so you can kind of see how some of those swords cut out of the box if I don't get a chance to go outside. But I hope this was enjoyable. Let's take a look at the backside real quick. All right, not a scratch in the fence behind it. Like I said, there's only about that much space between the cardboard. Speaking of which, all right, let's work our way backwards. So you've got those last cuts here. I'll give you some photographs. On the back, yeah, there was some ripping and deformation. That's the back edge of the Kogarasu Maru. You've got Yoshi, you've got Seigi's cuts. These kind of slashy curved ones here, that's from the, that would be from the Kukri, the Beast. But yeah, there's definitely a lot more of that rippage. The cuts start really clean, but when those straight blades start to, well, perpendicular out, I definitely see a lot more ripping on the back. But they easily got through this triple-walled cardboard. All right. So, still looking for a better microphone. The sound, the background noises have been coming in and out. This is a Galaxy Tab S6 Lite, which is notoriously picky for accepting anything that goes through the USB port. So I failed with at least one option I bought so far it wouldn't recognize. The onboard mic, well, it works pretty good, but as you can tell, there's just a ton of background noise out here. And if I walk more than 5 feet away from this thing or turn my back, you can't really hear me very well. But I can at least use it, I hope, for soundless videos. Yeah, me doing a video without talking, that'll be weird. Anyway, rambling on. Hope you enjoyed this one, that it was potentially useful information. Let me know in the comments. And until next time, thanks for watching, following, subscribing, and I hope to see you back for, well, more something.